Okay, I'm Bruce Miller from the Sioux City Journal. I must ask you, did you submit this as a master's thesis, or how did you, when you were writing it at that time, right? And did you submit it as a project? And what kind of a grade did you get on it?
Oh, such a good question. That's a good question. I was working on it while I was doing it, but I actually submitted it to a competition, and it won that competition, and then that's how I got to a production company. So I've basically just been like very jammy and weaseled my way in, and now they can't get rid of me.
This is an unbelievable story, really, isn't it? Was it your version of Friends when you looked at it? Did you say, you know what, these are Friends today. These are what Friends would be like today.
A little bit, yeah. It always started life as like a flat share sitcom, which is like friends in their 20s, kind of lost, not knowing what they're going to do with their lives. And then the superhero stuff came like actually quite like a lot later. I sort of like put it on over the top and everything started to make a lot more sense and it was a lot more fun. But yeah, it started life as just like friends trying to figure out life.
And did you think, oh my God, this is not even going to go? People are going to just say, this is so unbelievable, it's not going to be happening.
A little bit, yeah. And it's quite like gross and quite like rude.
Vulgar, yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of like...
It's everything I would love to write, but don't dare.
Yeah.
Right?
I think, yeah. I was like, I've got nothing to lose. I might as well just be disgusting. See how this goes.
Might as well just call him Jizzlord.
Yeah, I was like, Jizzlord, fine.
There you go. When you two read it, what did you think?
I remember so specifically reading like the interview scene, because that was like the first audition scene. And like, I remember reading it first and kind of not really getting I think I missed the explanation about the powers, because probably I was just opening up the script to be like, how many lines do I have to learn for this tape? But and then when I realised about the powers, and and then that bit in that scene where she goes, it's my thing, and then you realise that the interviewer has got superpowers where she can force someone to tell the truth, obviously. And then I read it again and I was like, oh my God, that is so clever. Like, it's so clever. And such like a bold opening to a show. And the script was just hilarious, like so funny.
It was just the funniest thing I'd read in like so long. Yeah. And I felt so unique, and such like Emma's voice is so like, yeah, unique. I felt like it was nothing I'd ever read before, and I just remember reading it, just crying with laughter. And actually I remember doing the tape with one of my friends and being so excited and wanting to like read and tell him different lines. I just felt like just so good, yeah.
But there comes a point where you feel you own the characters, where you will say, my character wouldn't say this, or, you know, where you can talk back. Has that happened yet, or are you still reliant on her to make sure that she has the voice?
It feels very collaborative. Like, I feel like, particularly with season 2, I mean, I feel like you know us so well at this stage that, like,
I'm writing for you.
You write, that it feels. I don't think I've ever had the experience of reading a line going, don't think Jed would say that. I think you've got such distinct characters with very distinct humours as well, that it feels like, yeah, you have it. I completely trust Emma's judgment on it.
So she'll always make it funnier.
Yeah, that's
do you own them? No, do you say, no, this is my character. Nobody else can play this?
I mean, I hope no one else plays that character. I'd like to keep it
going. Do we feel an ownership of like...
Yeah,
I think so, because I think also, you know, we had a really amazing rehearsal period with the directors and all together, and I think they gave us a lot of ownership over the characters, and Emma also allows us to kind of like explore sometimes outside the scenes with improvisations and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know how much of it actually goes in, but I guess that gives you a sense of ownership and like responsibility over the character.
And things happen where, let's say, if we do improvs or like have conversations in rehearsals, sometimes Toby, the director, would have like written it down and then passed it on to you, and then that might kind of weave its way into the story and stuff. So it feels.
I definitely feel like in the second season more so, more ownership. I felt like maybe we grew a bit in confidence and kind of knowing more who these people are, I guess.
So for you then, how does this change? How does this world change? Because now you're in it. You are actually doing it and make. Does it change the way you approach everything? You can't be as kind of pie in the sky when you're creating things?
No, I think there's more pie this season. There's more pie, there's more sky. No, it's a quite nice, like, that I know, like, the actors in the world. I think then you can just kind of expand on it. I think we just really, like, make the world a bit bigger in season 2, and it's kind of just having a bit more, like, playground to play around in. So I found it a lot more kind of freeing almost doing a second season.
Sure. The guys, how did you choose them? Because they are so off the wall. I mean, they do seem like a fringe festival. set, don't they?
Yeah, a duo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you mean the boys?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was all about chemistry, I think.
Yeah.
I think we sort of had individual auditions, but it was really hard to tell how that was going to work before you get just all of them in a room. So I think I watched like a lot of chemistry reads for you guys. I think once we sort of saw you four together, it was sort of like, oh, of course. It feels like they're already, once you get that sort of
Could
mix.
you derail somebody in that chemistry read? Could you say, oh, I don't like this one, so, yeah, okay, and then you not give them anything to play off?
But I
I'm
will
just
say,
asking.
no, we would never do that. But I will say that I think it was quite a long process between, let's say, starting like the audition and then like being seen in the room for the first time, and then I was cast maybe like 4 weeks after that, and then it was like another 4 weeks before. I think, it was another 4 weeks then before we met in our chemistry read. Like, it was quite a long process. And I think when that chemistry read happened, where it was like Fia and Bilal came in and we read, it was just the most like perfect thing. It felt completely right.
They're a great compliment. I think they really finished this group off. This says so much about a generation where today we have to be more than. We're not good enough. Is that the message you're trying to impart with them? Is that we are okay as we are?
Yeah, I think that is kind of the point of the show, to be honest. It's that you don't need to... I think someone like Cash kind of typifies like the wrong way to go about things, which is like, I want to be the best. I want to have like glory and like do really impressive things and be succeed. Whereas I think what hopefully people take away from the show is just that sort of hang out with your friends is kind of maybe the most important thing, and just be nice.
As an old person, I come to that conclusion where I realize the best times in my life were not these big grand moments, but they are actually those quiet moments where you're with friends and you can just laugh and just really have a great time.
Definitely.
And I don't know that we get to that until late in life, and we understand all that. But it is, it isn't a nice way of trying to pursue that in the course of this. How many superpowers did you consider for characters? Are there ones that you said, nah, that's not going to work? Flying, we're not doing that.
Oh, I think for like the main cast it's always been your powers, because it's supposed to like speak to character quite a bit. So Carrie's a bit of a pushover without her own voice, so people speak through her. And Cash is immature, so he doesn't have to face consequences because he turns back time. But yeah, a lot of the time, if it's an incidental or guest character, it's just a chance to... I tend to have power first and then find a way to get it in, to be honest.
So good.
So yeah, they're just for fun.
How do you share your vision with others so that they're on the same page as you?
Oh, I think I send a lot of YouTube videos. Usually a power's based on something really stupid I've seen on the internet. So I'll send Toby like some really dodgy links. They're like, kind of like this, but not this. So I don't think I do it very well, but I think he gets the message. Yeah.
I think so.
And music, I think music.
Music, yeah.
For the two of you, what kind of reaction have you had from viewers? Are they like, how do they approach this?
I think we've had a great response. Like, I think people... Often, the one thing that people say so regularly, and people were saying it last night as well, is that they tell all their friends to watch it. And I think that's like the sweetest thing ever, to kind of watch a show and know that like more people need to watch this, or that like a particular person's going to enjoy it, and then like want to share it is like really, really beautiful. So I love hearing people say that.
I think Jez Lord sometimes gets people screaming his name on the tube. Jez Lord! But he deals with it very well.
Yes. And your families, what did they think of these characters?
My dad
So
dad
sweet.
loved it. He's like a super fan of the show. He watches it all the time. He thinks it's just like so funny and original, and he just loves Emma's writing and the humour of it.
I want to meet him.
Yeah, you've got
I've
to.
never met him.
Yeah, he must
He
come.
hasn't given you notes and said, here's some ideas, now you should do this and do that?
Actually, once he did give me a note. Once when I was overthinking something, he was like, that's the thing with Carrie, she doesn't really overthink at all. And I was like, oh, that's actually quite good. It's quite good note.
Thank you,
He
dear.
knows them better than we do, doesn't
Yeah, he
he?
does. He'll quote me lines, like he'll be like, how'd you die? Bears. And I'll be like, what? And he'll be like, episode 1, season 1.
Oh, Dad, he's trouble. He's trouble right there.
He's trouble.
How long have you envisioned this to go? Is there an end point?
I don't know, I think it's such a fun world to be in, and I think we've only kind of scratched the surface of it, to be honest. I think there's infinite powers, infinite things they can like say about people. I guess the sort of central sort of thrust of like your power and if it's there and how do you get it is something we have to sort of get to eventually. But I can see it. I'd like to do it forever. Yeah.
Do you think you can talk to the dead?
In real life?
Uh-huh.
Me?
Yeah.
Me, Sophia?
Yeah.
No, you know what, I don't. I don't think I can talk to the dead. I don't think I'd want to either. 'Cause it seems
But
like
you know
quite a
how,
lot-
if you've had somebody you've lost in your family, and you go, you know what, I can hear exactly what they're saying.
No, I don't think I really get that, but I get sometimes like a sense. Sometimes I think I before something happens, I'm like, oh, I knew that was going to happen. But it has then just happened, so...
So it went close. It
Do
was
you think
good.
you can?
I do. I think they talk to you all the time. I think that you have people from your past who are no longer around who will push you in a direction or
Guide
say,
you.
you know what, you can do that. Does that sound strange?
wow.
It probably is
No,
strange.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Sounds really
Yeah.
lovely.
Oh, you'll get there. It's age. It's age.
Yeah.
It comes with age. You playing this kind of a character who feels like she's missing something. How do you feel that in your own life that there's something that's missing, or
I think like we all like feel what you were saying earlier, like this kind of like sense of inadequacy in some, especially nowadays world where you've got like, you know, social media and comparison. It's like it couldn't be more of a thing. It feels so, and if you have to work so hard to try and kind of, you know, not do that and not compare yourself and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But I think Jen, it's very easy to access because it's so specific. Like, she's living in a world where everyone has a superpower except for her, and everyone looks down on her. It's something that you're probably asked every day at a job interview, what's your superpower? Like, so you bump into someone in a bar, what's your superpower? So to think of how often she's reminded of her inadequacy, that's quite like a, you know, easy thing to remember.
didn't you go to RADA?
I did, yeah.
That alone would be one of those things that people will go, oh, she went to RADA, okay. She's, you know, where you have something over on somebody.
Yes, yeah.
And did you ever feel inadequate in that space, that I was not, I didn't measure up to the people that I think
when I moved over to London for the first time, like I was 18 when I moved over, and I think I hadn't done much I'd done youth theatre and stuff, but when I moved over and I met people who had gone to Brit school or like these stage schools and had like such confidence in themselves, it completely like threw me. I was like, I think it's an Irish way as well, like you don't have that, or people would think you've got notions if you kind of turn up with an inch of self-confidence.
If you have self-esteem, they're like,
If you have self-esteem, get out.
she's trouble.
Yeah, so I think like that was quite like affronting. I absolutely felt inadequate, and they'd be talking about these plays that were at the National like 5 years ago, and they're like, you haven't seen that? I'm like, no.
Oh, you haven't seen that.
No,
Oh, okay.
exactly, and you kind of,
Yeah.
I hate that judgment of like, you don't know that, or you haven't read every Shakespeare. Like, no.
You know, and that's the other thing I find, and pardon me, with British actors, is that there is like a pecking order. And, you know, if you've done this or you've done that, suddenly you are on a different scale. And I hear, you know, come on, what is it? You can pull somebody off the street and put them in a reality show, and suddenly they're the biggest thing ever, and they have no talent. You know, and so I find that just fascinating that, you know, here this is, but she is traveling the path that so many are.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very relatable character.
Right.
I think everyone's
Yeah.
felt like that at some point in their
Well,
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great good luck with this. It is so fun to watch, and I'll tell you, I am shocked every time I watch an episode. And I don't know if it's the language, if it's something scrawled on the wall, or whatever it might be, but I go, yes, she did it. I'm glad she did. So congratulations.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks
so
so much.
much.
Cheers.